Well, good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Mayor, thank you very much for that kind introduction, and really thank you for hosting our annual summer travel roundtable. So it's great to be here at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. Jan, I appreciate the kickoff this morning, as well, Andy, for being our MC at the very beginning. We have a number of industry representatives with us today. They will follow me in the presentation, and then we'll be happy to take questions from the media. But as we talked about, summer is going to be busy. And for TSA, one of the things we always look at is how busy was spring break. And so if we look at the past spring break, it was very busy, busier than normal. Average number of passengers in the month of April going through TSA checkpoints nationwide was about 2.3 million every single day. We had one of our very busiest days yesterday. Across the nation, 2.67 million people went through TSA screening. That's about a 12% increase over the number just last year, and that is also the highest number since the pandemic. So we are definitely out of pre-pandemic, or we're back to pre-pandemic levels and out of the pandemic recovery. We have fully recovered in aviation. We expect, as was said, Thursday and Friday to be very busy, as well as Monday. And we figure that we will see 2.6 million people on a regular basis across this holiday weekend. About 10 million people traveling through airports over the course of the entire weekend. So it's going to be very, very busy. Mayor said, and Jan said, we're ready. From TSA's perspective, we are ready. We have more staff on hand this year than we had last year, which is a good thing because we have more passengers this year than we had last year. But one of the key drivers for that is an initiative that was submitted by the President and approved by the Congress in December of this year to finally, for the first time in TSA's history, to pay our employees off the same pay scale that other federal employees are paid. And you know, I think that our employees richly deserve that recognition. They work hard across the entire enterprise. And to give you a sense for what that means to our employees, for the uniform screening officers you see in our checkpoint, that represents about a 30% pay increase last year to this year beginning on the 1st of July. For our federal air marshals that provide in-flight security and security in transportation hubs, it's about a 20% increase. And then all the other people that support our security operation that many passengers don't see on a regular basis. These would be our intelligence professionals, our operations center watchstanders, people that directly manage our security operations in airports like Atlanta, our canine handlers, our explosives experts, and our inspectors, both domestic and international. Already, as a result of this initiative, we have seen our attrition rates, the number of people that leave every year, drop by 50%. So you got to think about that for a second. You know, more people, by far, are staying in TSA, which is exactly what we thought we would see as a result of this pay initiative. So it's critically important that this pay initiative carry through into fiscal 24 as it was passed in fiscal 23, so that we can have pay that continues to match forevermore the pay of other federal employees in the U.S. government. So as I said, staffing levels are better this year than they were a year ago. And you know, I think that that will show its worth over the course of, it certainly has over the course of spring break, and certainly will over the course of the summer. We also have as part of TSA, an element called the National Deployment Force. And what this is about 1,000 certified officers who we asked to volunteer. So we went across the entire agency, asked for volunteers for people who would be willing to leave their home airport and go on a temporary basis to other airports around the country that may have a certain event going on or may have a different staffing challenge than their home airport has. So we have about 1,000 volunteers. So you got to think about that for a second. We just asked for volunteers. We had 1,000 people raise their hands and say, I'd like to do that. And these individuals we will use over the course of the entire summer to provide additional staffing where needed. So it represents a great deal of flexibility on the part of our screening workforce. As far as weight standards, I expect that we'll maintain our weight standard of 30 minutes or less in standard lanes on average, and 10 minutes or less in pre-check lanes. And let me talk about pre-check for a second, because I've got one big announcement to make this afternoon. But before I do that, let me just say that TSA PreCheck now has 15 million members in TSA PreCheck. It broke a threshold that we had established for ourselves. We have reduced the cost of PreCheck in terms of the initial enrollment and the re-enrollment fees. We have also increased the number of enrollment centers around the country, so it's easier and easier to sign up for TSA PreCheck. What I'm happy to announce today is that we are allowing teenagers ages 13 to 17 to accompany their PreCheck enrolled parents or guardians through TSA PreCheck screening when they travel on the same reservation as their parent or guardian. So really important change. If you have a teenager, you're a PreCheck member, your teenager can travel with you through PreCheck, and just double check to make sure that the PreCheck symbol is on their boarding pass, electronic or paper. I would also highlight that for a long time, we have permitted children 12 years and under to travel with a PreCheck member in our PreCheck lane. So this basically covers now all minors that are traveling with a parent or guardian in PreCheck. PreCheck enrollment, I would highlight, only takes about 5 minutes. And for many, many travelers, if you apply for TSA PreCheck online, it will take you about 5 minutes. We will send you a very quick notification to appear at one of our enrollment centers. That's a very quick process as well. It's highly likely that for the majority of people that enroll, they will have what's known as a known traveler number, or a KTN, which is the number you put in your airline profile to indicate that you have TSA PreCheck, usually within about 5 business days. So think about all this for a second. We have increased the number of people in PreCheck. We have reduced enrollment fees. We have reduced re-enrollment fees, and we've expanded the number of people covered by PreCheck just by the very nature that teens traveling with a parent or guardian can travel on their guardian or parent's PreCheck registration. In addition to PreCheck, some other tips for this summer that I'd just like to emphasize. One is to pack an empty bag. What that means is when you're packing either your carry-on bag or your check bag, particularly your carry-on bag, just make sure it's empty, because oftentimes we find in our checkpoints people forgot that something was in their carry-on bag. Our X-ray system will detect it. It will slow you down. And perhaps other things may happen to you as a result if you're carrying an item that we prohibit, but it will also slow every passenger that's behind you down. So pack an empty bag. The second is to allow some time. I find that when I travel, and I travel a lot, just adding a little extra time makes it a whole lot more fun. To travel, it means that some unexpected things that come up, and they always will, that you can manage a whole lot better if you've given yourself just a little bit more time. You'll see in our checkpoints around the country that thanks to the support of the President and the Congress, we are deploying new technologies across all of our screening checkpoints. We are trying to make our screening process as frictionless as it possibly can be. For example, no longer do you need to hand over your driver's license or your passport to one of our officers. You can self-serve in many airports around the country. In some, like Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta Airport, you can now use digital IDs. Georgia has agreed to participate in the mobile driver's license program, which means that when you walk up to the TSA checkpoint in PreCheck in Georgia, you just simply tap your iPhone on a reader and it reads your license information. So a big advancement there. The other thing that most people will see is new X-ray technology. It looks more modern than what it replaces. And the big difference passengers will see is we now require that all of your accessible property, your carry-on bags, your personal items, need to go into bins. Please be aware of that as you go up to the new technology, and load the bins as much as you can, but don't load them to the point where things might fall out of them on their way through the X-ray. The other thing is please respect our officers. Please respect all airport and airline employees. We see now, unfortunately, more and more abuse, both verbal and physical abuse, of people that work in jobs that really are designed to make sure that you have a safe, secure, and enjoyable travel experience. So please respect them. They respect you. They are doing their very best job to make sure that your journey is safe and secure. Next one is to make sure as you approach the screening checkpoint to have your identification ready. It's a little frustrating for everybody else in line when you've been waiting in line for 2 or 3 minutes and all of a sudden when the person gets up to present their ID, they can't find it. So just have it handy. believe me, in our screening process, every second counts because it just smooths the flow of everybody else behind you. Last tip is that if you have any questions of TSA, we have now a texting feature where you can just text, Ask TSA. It will go to our coordination center, and in most cases, you'll get a response back in minutes. So if you're heading to the airport and you wonder, hey, can I bring this through the screening checkpoint, just text us, and we will tell you that. So you know, hey, I might have to leave this in my car, or hey, I'm good, I can bring it through the checkpoint. You can also tweet to us at Ask TSA, at Ask TSA. So please use the social media presence that we have. We find it to be incredibly useful to exchange information with travelers in near real time, and I think travelers appreciate that convenience as well. So in closing, let me thank our partners that are here and across the country. One of the things that makes this system so successful that we have in the United States is that all of our partners are working together, whether it's a government agency, a other federal, state, or local agency, or a private sector entity, or not-for-profit entities. We all endeavor to work very, very closely together. For us, when we see a problem, we view it as our collective problem to be able to address, and you'll always see us approach things that way. While I have the podium, I would just like to recognize my team in TSA for the terrific work they have done already this calendar year. Very busy spring break, as I mentioned. It's going to be a very, very busy summer. I am really proud of the way they represent the United States, the Department of Homeland Security, and the Transportation Security Administration, and treat you with integrity, respect, and a demonstration of their commitment to our mission. For passengers, I thank all of you for doing your part, for being ready when you travel, for making sure that you don't carry things that are going to cause a concern in our screening checkpoint. And so with that, it's my pleasure to introduce the next speaker, who is Mr. Nick Callio. Nick is the Chief Executive Officer of Airlines for America. He represents many major airlines in the country, and he, like everyone else who will speak after me, has been a great partner, not just with TSA, but across the entire enterprise. So Nick, the podium is yours.